their proposed changes to their revised general plan dealing with Chesapeake Bay Preservation Act policies. So these are policies the county is deliberating now. This is just a letter notifying us. And I'll ask, here's a copy of it. I'll ask Lauren maybe if she could get an electronic version to send it everywhere. I think everybody will take a look at it. In specific, I want to point out a couple of things that now we haven't had any discussions with the county. This is the first time we've seen us, and they sent this to us. And it's at their planning commission now. They're proposing some changes in areas that are, in fact, would be covered, what they call the rural policy, which is the JLMA for us. You know, whatever you want to call it, it's one and the same. And I want to go back a few years ago when we were updating Poogan. One of the issues that the town and county ended up not agreeing on was the county wanted, you know, today Poogan prohibits communal systems. And the county had made a request that we amend Poogan to permit communal systems for public facilities only. Nobody else, but just county public facilities. And the town didn't support that. We said, well, we could, I guess, consider them for everyone, or consider them for no one. That seemed to make more sense because it's just technology at that point. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That was one of the items with which we did not agree. We did at the planning commission levels, but not when it got to the board of supervisors and town council, we didn't agree. So in that, I just want to point out two things. So what the county has done, I guess, instead of working through the Poogan process, they're proposing to change some of their general wastewater policies. And I'll read, it would, the use of LCSA-approved communal wastewater collection and treatment systems for school facilities. Item D of this report we don't have and we will get. So I found that interesting. I'm not sure that would be one of my comments back. Certainly the council will probably get no comments. And they also appear to, we really need to make sure Maureen gets a copy of this as well. Okay. There's another item, 15, in their chapter 2 that says, appears to be restricting rights we already have. It says, the extension of central sewer service into the rural policy areas is not permitted except to serve county and town-owned public facilities. Well, today we have the right to extend it into the, so they appear to be, just reading it, well, wait a minute, can't necessarily do that. It's like they forgot that Poogan still exists. For better or for worse.
As if it expired.
Yeah. And the other is, I don't, the board hasn't seen trouble. They're probably aware of it, but again, in fairness to the board, this is the planning commission level. It also talks about, where is this? Oh, they wanted to find, one of the other issues we didn't come to resolution of is because of a poor definition. We both did support defining it better as what is an alternative wastewater collection system. There is not an industry standard or anything. So one of the disagreements we did have was the county had taken the position, well, what was once alternative, if it's been used repeatedly, is now conventional. We didn't support that. We said, well, wait a minute, let's have a definition of what an alternative system is. Ours was a fixed one. They wanted a floating one. And we weren't supportive of this floating one because guess who defines what a floating one is? The county. So we were like, wait a minute, we're supposed to be partners here. So they had a provision in here that basically said alternative systems are kind of, I lost my little sum, but I'll paraphrase, it says, they're like the sole determiner of what's an alternative system. Again, in the rural policy, which is our JLMA, wait a minute, now we have this agreement, which the courts haven't thrown out yet. It may not work well, and practically may not exist, but it still exists, and you're not permitted to change the requirements of that plan. My opinion is if they adopt this, they have immediately conflicted with Poogan, and hopefully we can alert them to that fact. Maybe the planning commissioners aren't as familiar with it, they have some new ones. But I think, more importantly, make sure Maureen gets a copy, make sure we all get one just to look at it. Again, and they have some, there may be some other things in there too. One of the things I just have, in general, have a problem with, they're imposing some additional restrictions or some requirements as policy and not providing funding to do it. We don't receive funding from the county for some of these things, and these, in fact, may be wonderful ideas and incentives, but certainly work in concert with us. You gave us a completed document I would have hoped there would have been more discussion before they got to the end, but so be it. I just think we owe it to them to give them, if we have any comments as a group, that would be nice. If not individually, because I'm sure the council will.
In a draft document like that, is there any way we can argue? What's our?
Well, they sent us the letter to the town and said, here's where it is, and we're requesting comment. And so we would give them comment. Both, I would think, we could do it, citizens could do it.
Yeah.
Or as a body, if we wanted to. Or certainly, I think the council is going to take up some of these issues, or try to. I'm going to ask them to take a look at it. But it mostly deals with open space. It deals with environmental protection areas and restrictions and requirements and things of that nature. It deals with utility systems, which I find a little bit interesting how that worked its way into here.
But the notice says the hearing was on the 28th of January, so it's late.
That's the planning commission. It has to go to the board of supervisors to change the
So
contract.
you're suggesting the comments be directed to the board? Okay.
I just noticed it this week myself, so I don't know how long we've had it in the room back there in the council.
Doesn't seem to you they're picking and choosing parts of Coogan if they want and don't want?
Yeah, I think, let me say it this way. It would appear as though at the planning commission level and the staff level at the county, they're trying to undo some things in Coogan without changing Coogan, trying to change it through a county plan only. It certainly gives that perspective where they intended it that way. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but certainly, since we weren't included in the development of this until the end, makes one ask that question.
When was the last meeting of
December